Move it, troopers! On the double! Fire!
Hey guys, this is Luke from the Scoundrels Cantina, and welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be going over how powerful the Dark Lord of the Sith Darth Sidious, aka Sheev Descendant Palpatine is, which will include going over his Force powers, lightsaber skills, and other abilities. As always, we're mixing the expanded universe and canon because we believe that there is no reason why most of it can't fit together. Todd the other Scoundrel will be having the honors in narrating this video, so anyway, let's do it!
First off, we're going to start with his lightsaber skills. Darth Sidious was trained by his master Darth Plagueis the Wise to perfection in lightsaber combat. His master taught him everything he knew, although Palpatine eventually surpassed his master's skill in lightsaber combat as Plagueis focused on finding immortality. After years of training and advancing his skills with the dark side, Sidious mastered all the forms of lightsaber combat and would become the greatest lightsaber duelist in galactic history, being unmatched especially due to his mastery with the Force. Darth Sidious had an extremely aggressive dueling style and augmented his swordplay by using Force-enhanced speed, allowing him to eliminate his enemies in mere seconds. While dueling like this, time seemed to have been slowed down to him, and it appeared as though his victims were dispatched by a phantom. His style was a combination of brutal aggression and lethal precision, making him an almost unstoppable opponent. Sidious commonly used Makashi, which was formed to with lightsaber combat, which was the most duel-centric style that relied on precision with minimal effort, while being elegant at the same time with fluidity, precision, and strength. Palpatine has also shown incredible skills at deflecting every single blaster bolt aimed at him, during which he utilized both Form 5, known as Gemso or Sion, as well as Form 3, aka Seresu. He was capable of redirecting every single shot back into his enemies, which rarely anyone could achieve, which was seen when he fought alongside his apprentice Darth Vader on the planet Ryloth. Since Palpatine was one of the most vicious lightsaber duelists, he of course was an absolute master at Form 7, which was known as Juyo, or VideoPad, aka the Ferocity form. Since the dark side of the Force was like a drug to Sidious, as he was so imbued by it, VideoPad was commonly used by him, where he channeled his inner darkness and redirected it into his opponents. Darth Sidious's true power was the dark side of the Force alone, and not his lightsaber skills, which is where Niman, aka Form 6, comes into play. He displayed extreme skill in applying Force attacks into his lightsaber combat when using Niman, making him a deadly and unpredictable foe. A big amount of his lightsaber skills were passed down to his apprentice Darth Maul, as well as his next apprentice Count Dooku. Even though he viewed the double-bladed lightsaber, aka the saber staff, as a weapon fit for barbarians, he was very skilled with it and taught Maul how to use it to the highest level, and was capable of spinning it with a single hand. On the other hand, Count Dooku was considered one of the most elegant and dangerous duelists of his era. Darth Sidious was ambidextrous and could change his fighting style at whim, keeping his opponents unsure what his next move would be. Having fully mastered every single form of lightsaber combat and all their techniques, Sidious was capable of using each form equally in both of his hands. Palpatine had multiple lightsabers, all of which were constructed from a nearly indestructible material called prick, although he almost always used a single blade. When in need of a second lightsaber, he simply force-pulled it from his robes, as we've seen when he personally went to Mandalore to eliminate his not-so-deceased former apprentice Darth Maul and his brother Savage Opress. Dual-wielding lightsabers in combat is known as Jarkai. In his duel with his Zabrak brothers, his fighting style was considered insidious, as he caused as much damage around himself as possible while holding off the two Sith on equal grounds as he broke through their defenses. Darth Sidious eventually separated the brothers by incorporating his Force abilities, after which he merely toyed with Savage Opress, even due to his immense physical strength. After easily killing the Sith warrior Savage, Sidious was left alone with Maul, who ignited his second lightsaber, and so a full-on Jarkai vs Jarkai duel erupted. Palpatine retained a slight advantage over his former apprentice, even during their lightning-fast duel, eventually ripping away Maul's lightsabers from him. In 19 BBY, at the very end of the Clone Wars, the Jedi Order's greatest duelists, Jedi Masters Mace Windu, Agent Kolar, CSC 10, and Kit Fisto arrived to arrest Palpatine as his identity was finally revealed. By using Force speed, Darth Sidious effortlessly killed both Agent Kolar and CSC-10, each with a single blow, after which Kit Fisto managed to last just a while longer but joined them as well, as if Sidious was toying with them. When finally engaging Mace Windu, who was a master at VideoPad, Palpatine's swordplay backfired on him as each blow was redirected back at him due to Windu's lightsaber form. When Anakin arrived, Sidious merely pretended to be weak in order to further manipulate him to the dark side. In his duel with Grandmaster Yoda, who was the most powerful of the Jedi, the two of them found themselves to almost be evenly skilled with a lightsaber, which is when Palpatine used his Force powers in order to force Master Yoda to retreat. When the Galactic Empire was formed, 5 Jedi were captured and brought before the Emperor. There, Palpatine gave them their lightsabers and a chance to live if they fought each other, knowing that they would try to eliminate him. In a single swift strike, he killed 3 out of the 5 Jedi captors, as the remaining 2 have never seen such speed and were shocked. Ironically, despite Sidious's masterful dueling skills, he believed that he had grown beyond the need for a lightsaber and only carried one to mock the Jedi, as the dark side of the Force was all he needed. This is why he was rarely ever seen using a lightsaber during his reign as Emperor. Now we're going to go over his Force powers. Apart from being the greatest lightsaber duelist in galactic history, Darth Sidious was one of the most powerful Force users of all time, being viewed by Darth Vader as the dark side's most powerful expression. Sidious was also one of the most powerful beings in galactic history, alongside the extremely powerful ones, the Dark Entity Abeloth, the Sith Emperor Vitiate, the Prodigal Knight Revan, and the Chosen One if he unlocked this full potential. As an apprentice of Darth Plagueis the Wise, he learned all the known dark side powers of his predecessors and excelled very quickly, learning everything his master had to teach him and much more. His power in the Force was so immense since he spent decades researching all of his facets, which would grant him mastery over all known Force abilities, even coming to the point where he managed to discover previously unknown techniques, as well as create new abilities at whim. Sidious sometimes wondered if the Force was so strong with anyone that came before him, as he felt a monster rising from inside of him, impatient to unleash itself. When he eliminated his master, he felt the dark side proclaim him the ultimate Dark Lord of the Sith.
Ironic.
Even before becoming a Sith, he was strong enough to block out Darth Plagueis' mind-reading abilities, as well as effortlessly murder his family and their personal guards. Darth Sidious' favorite ability was Force Lightning, as he was the most skilled Force user to ever use it, apart from maybe the Sun and Abeloth. He used it as both a deadly attack as well as to torture his victims. If he wished, he could even instantly reduce his enemies into charred husks due to its intensity. When dueling Mace Windu, his darkness backfired on him due to Windu's use of VideoPad, although his incredibly powerful use of Force Lightning almost overwhelmed the Jedi Master, who barely held him off. In the end, he was actually deliberately holding his power back in order to manipulate Anakin Skywalker into joining him. After he did what he planned, his lightning threw Mace Windu out of the Senate building to his death. The Emperor was even capable of catching Grandmaster Yoda off guard, as well as disarming him of his lightsaber with it while in combat. When entering a Force Lightning lock with Yoda's Tutu Minis, the two opponents found themselves as equal from the light and the dark side, culminating in an explosion that separated them. The only other individual that was able to match Sidious to a standstill was Galen Merrick, aka Starkiller, but only due to using the dark side to boost himself. When they got into a Force Lightning lock, Sidious was simply more powerful, and as an explosion erupted, Galen was killed while defending his allies. While torturing Luke Skywalker at the Battle of Endor in front of his father, Darth Vader, the Emperor would have succeeded in killing him if it wasn't for his hubris, as the redeemed Anakin Skywalker intervened. Even though Sidious wasn't able to free himself from Vader's grip, his deadly Force Lightning was enough to mortally wound the redeemed Skywalker. Palpatine was also able to combine his telekinesis with Force Lightning as he hurled it at his opponents, increasing the damage done, which was called Lightning Grenade. The Dark Lord was also seen creating an impenetrable shield out of Force Lightning while fighting Galen Merrick. His lightning was also known to strike multiple enemies with bolts, jumping from one enemy to another. Sidious also perfected the use of telekinesis, as he easily overpowered both Darth Maul and his brother Savage, pinning them to the glass wall, then releasing them as he was simply toying with the Sith pretenders. His force pull was incredibly powerful, as the Zabrak brothers could not withstand its force. His force push, on the other hand, was so strong that it even knocked Darth Maul out when he used it to its full capacity. After killing Savage, he ended his intense duel with Maul by grabbing him with the Force and throwing him around until the Sith Lord begged for mercy. He was also very fond of pulling his lightsaber out of his robes in a very insidious way. His high level of telekinesis was shown in his battle with Yoda when he levitated several Senate pods with ease and started throwing them at the Grand Master. Since he was a slightly higher caliber than Starkiller, he was also capable of taking down ships with the Force, as he did so a few times. Darth Sidious was probably the most powerful user of Force Choke, as he was seen choking his apprentice Count Dooku while being thousands of light years away as if it were nothing. And also, we have the most badass scene of him when he choked 2 Mandalorians to death as he walked by them. As a true puppet master, he choked and levitated another 2 Mandalorians before arriving to Darth Maul's throne room as fear gripped his former apprentice.
Remember, the first and only reality of the Sith. There can only be two.
Sidious was a master at force speed, which he implemented into his lightsaber combat, moving so quickly that his opponents would find themselves being unable to react in time. Darth Sidious also had the power of force flight, being able to hover above the ground in standard gravity, as well as using a dark aura around himself with a miniature storm of malevolent force energy which slowly tortured all who were caught in it. He was also able to produce a force storm, which he himself discovered, which was probably one of the most powerful abilities. Sidious possessed the feral usage of force rage, with which he channeled his pain, fear, rage, and hate into raw power. He was also proficient in pyrokinesis, as evident by how he lit a curtain on fire with a small flame behind which a senator was hiding, who then burned to death. An advanced technique that he also mastered was transfer his essence, as well as the essences of others, as seen when he killed the Imperial scientist that worked on creating the Death Star Bevel Lemilus and transferred his essence into a clone body of him. He has shown knowledge in manipulating the midichlorians with his master Darth Plagueis as they mentally reached out to the inhabitants of the galaxy
to create life.
What they did was in direct violation of the nature of the Force, to which the Force itself struck back in retaliation by conceiving a savior, which was prophesied long ago to bring balance to the Force and peace to the galaxy. Darth Sidious was highly adept at foreseeing the future, often utilizing his power to see his plots to fruition, ensuring that
everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
He might have been the most skilled at this, although he never even believed that his defeat was at all possible, as he planned on ruling forever. As the Puppet Master and the only Sith that managed to annihilate the Jedi and reorganize the Republic into the Galactic Empire, he was the greatest manipulator in all of Star Wars, where his ability of Force Stealth, aka Force Concealment, comes into play. He was able to hide his dark nature from the Jedi Order for years while being right in front of them, as well as cloud their vision, making it extremely difficult for them to predict future events. In the end, this ability allowed him to rise to power as the Emperor of the Galaxy.
Everything that has transpired has done so according to my design.
He used it even further as a facade for the Senate and the citizens of the Empire, although revealed his true self to Ezra Bridger when he refused to join him. Overall, his powers of control and persuasion have been drawn from the very blackest depths of the dark side of the Force. Palpatine was also capable of telepathically communicating with Darth Vader, who was across the galaxy from him, as well as being able to sense the thoughts and feelings of others while hiding his own. His Force persuasions were so powerful that he would take complete control of his victims' actions, which was more advanced than that of any other Force user. The Dark Lord was also knowledgeable and proficient in Sith magic, as he was able to perform an ancient ritual that casted a powerful and convincing dark illusion capable of fooling even Yoda, where he mentally assaulted him with the dark side, although Yoda managed to resist in the end.
Why not let him go? Let him die, and you can stop all that I will do.
By using ancient Sith alchemy and an unknown ritual, Darth Sidious was able to access the world between worlds, where he encountered Ezra Bridger and Ahsoka Tano. His power flowed even to the realm of the world between worlds, as he sent blue fiery energy as a weapon which could also pull his opponents to him. Darth Sidious is the most powerful Sith Lord in galactic history, as well as one of the most top 5 powerful beings in the galaxy, not to mention the Master of Manipulation and the ultimate Puppet Master.
Anyway guys, this is it on the video, and we hope you all enjoyed it and learned something new about the vast galaxy of Star Wars. If you enjoy our content, make sure to check out our second war channel, The Crossroads Inn, and if you want to watch more videos like this one, the links to the playlist for other Star Wars stories and videos will be in the description down below. Also, if you want to support this channel, hit that subscribe button for more videos like this one, and remember guys, God is awesome, may the Force be with you always, and we'll see you in another video. You rebel scum.
This party's over.